What cultural background or knowledge does this question assume? So, this question uses inches and cubic inches. In many parts of the world, including much of Latin America, Asia, and Europe, the metric system is used instead. An English learner might be unfamiliar with inches, especially how they relate to three-dimensional volume. This could make it difficult to visualize or interpret the measurements. While this is a standard fifth grade geometry term in the US, it may not be commonly introduced or may be taught using different terminology in other countries or early education settings. Without a visual, an EB might not connect the term rectangular prism with the box like shape. For students with limited exposure to manipulative and experimental learning in math, connecting abstract terms like volume to physical objects can be difficult. A rectangular prism might not hold meaning unless it has been physically seen or built in class. So, what might be difficult linguistically about this question for EBs? So, I think that words like rectangular prism, volume, length, width, height, and cubic are all context specific terms that EBs must decode in English. These words may have no everyday equivalent in a student's home language, or they may be used differently in their language. And this question compresses a lot of information into a single sentence. The clause has a length of 20 inches, a width of 11 inches, and a height of 13 inches. Includes 3 pieces of numerical information and corresponding vocabulary. So EBs must not only know the meaning of each term, but they must also understand how they relate spatially. Nowhere does the question state how to calculate volume. It assumes students know how to multiply length times width times height. For an EB unfamiliar with U.S. testing conventions, this implicit expectation may go unrecognized. How would you revise the question to ensure cultural relevance and avoid linguistic ambiguity? So I would revise it by saying you have a box that is shaped like a rectangle. It is 20 inches long, 11 inches wide, and 13 inches tall. What is the volume of the box in cubic inches? So I could also add a diagram or a picture showing the labeled dimensions. By replacing the words a rectangular prism with the more familiar language will help the students understand the kind of shape they are asking about. So for most of them, I feel like they learn more when they can see what exactly they are talking about. So I think that having a visual aid will support their understanding of the shape. And shortening and simplifying the question will make it easier for them to understand as well. If there's too many big words or too many words for that they would not understand, it would make it more difficult for them to be able to answer the question. How do you think you can prepare students for standardized questions? So to prepare English learners for standardized tests like the STAR, I would consider building academic language in context. For example, explicitly teaching math vocabulary using visuals, gestures, and realia. I could also use graphic organizers for terms like volume and prism. Going back to having visuals, I feel like I said before, visuals are huge for these kinds of students to help remember and Having gestures also will help program that in their brain so they could, just a way to help them remember. Reinforcing concepts with sentence stems would also be very helpful. I also think students, teaching students how to break down questions like circling key numbers, underlying important terms like length or width, which they should be doing this in their reading STAR already. So it would help them also with math questions to do those kinds of things. Also, using culturally relevant examples, just such as comparing the size of box used in everyday situations, would also help prepare the students. For example, like shoe boxes. Most kids have shoe boxes that they can relate to, and just different things that they see and just can relate to their everyday life.